Alright, what's going on, guys? This is a new thing that I came up with that I want to introduce to you. A fantasy flex-off type deal. We're going to go about it and we're going to compare guys that haven't been on stage together. So, of course, there's going to be differences in lighting and angles and all that. So we're just going to take our knowledge of what we've seen in a culmination of a bunch of videos and a bunch of a bunch of different things. So sure, there's a picture to represent it, but it's not just about that picture. It's about what we've seen before and kind of what we know about it. So check it out. Let me know what you want to see more of in terms of who you want me to compare. I was thinking maybe like Flex Wheeler versus Sean Roden, kind of stuff like that. So check it out, give it a view, give it a like, give it a subscribe to my channel, and keep checking back for more content. Thank you for tuning in. Who's going to win, Phil or Dorian? And let me know what you thought about it in the comment box below. What you thought. Was I right? Was I wrong? Was I kind of right? Was I kind of wrong? Or was it kind of a mixture of John's a freaking weirdo? So thank you for tuning in yet again, and sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Sucker. Alright guys, there's going to be a lot of variances in these pictures due to angles and lighting and whatnot, but here we go. So I'm going to give this one to Phil because of the fullness, the presentation in terms of how it looks with conditioning, and I like his quad sweep and how it comes out, especially towards the upper thigh. So at first I was going to make it 2-0 Phil Heath, but as I looked further into it and more poses in general beyond these pictures, I don't necessarily like Phil's side relax as much. I don't like the way his stomach usually protrudes. In this picture, it's not really relevant, but usually from Phil usually dominates from the side chest and the side tri. But for this, I give the graininess and the complete package and just the way Dorian presents that pose. If you check out other posing videos and whatnot, I like the way Dorian hits that side relax pose a little bit more than I would prefer Phil's. Alright, so this shot I'm definitely going to give to Dorian. So, yes, Phil does pop from the back again. Yeah, his belly is just coming to play all the time. We know this. But when you look at the package when it comes from head to toe, if you look at the calves and you look at the hamstrings, and usually Phil's got those glutes really hard and really locked and really diced in. But I like the way Dorian's spinal erectors fade into his lats, and I also like the way his hamstrings really pop from the rear. Phil has a good pop in the hamstrings from side poses, which we'll see later, but from the rear, Dorian's hamstrings really give that extra pop. And I don't like to just favor back poses just based upon the back. I like to look at the whole posterior chain, and for completeness, wholeness, and the entirety of the physique, I give this back relax pose to the shadow. Now, a lot of people really go crazy for Phil's front double bicep, and in this photo comparison, it is pretty relevant that I think Phil probably looks a little bit better, but I like the way Dorian's quads really just pop up from the front and the sweep pops out, and that kind of tapers in his waist a little bit tighter than Phil's rather. Phil's definitely got the arm fullness and the arm tightness, but in terms of complete symmetry and proportion, I'm going to give this one for Dorian, just because of the way that it looks, the way that it's presented, and just the way that he kind of just looks more proportional, if you will. And the taper just looks better from the legs to the waist, and then from the waist to the arms. Versus Phil's, where it's just kind of arm heavy, and then that pops and that's full and it looks great, but it's not as complete as Dorian rather. Alright, this next shot I kind of give lights out to Phil. Yeah, Phillian, what am I freaking saying? Dorian looks thicker from the quads from the front, and yeah, Dorian is bigger, so if we were going to actually put them in proportion next to each other on stage, Dorian would probably dwarf Phil. But Phil's fullness in this pose does make him come up to size in terms of looking bigger, and he makes up for the width with those really poppy chest and delts. So I kind of give this front relax due to that to Phil because of that pop, and it really just makes that front relax look a little bit more complete than Dorian's, I think. Alright, no disrespect to Dorian whatsoever, but I mean, I think that Dorian, if you look at his upper chest there, that shit's freaky. But we all know that Phil is Mr. Side Pose, and he's really got this one locked in. If you look at the hands, the chest, the delts, just the entirety of the fullness and the way he shows off his midsection. same results kind of come into play here. Yeah, sometimes Phil doesn't look great when he shows his lower stomach, but that just could be the angle again here too. I do like Dorian's stomach in this picture better, but Phil, it's the name of the frickin' pose, side try, and those frickin' arms are just frickin' crazy. And his hamstrings pop better, and I like the way his quads pop better, and his glute ham, not glute ham, but side glute tie-in is better. So I was relatively disappointed at the pictures I could find of Dorian's back lat spread. But if we look at this here, Phil yet again, pops. The way his spinal erectors pop up right through his lats, and it ties up all the way through his taper from the rhomboids, from the traps, from the teres major. It just looks a little bit more complete than Dorian's rather, but Dorian does get some nasty points for those nasty freaking dry hamstrings. But Phil's glutes are just gnarly, just the way they have that detail, that conditioning, that look, the separation from every single point of it. I give that glute work to Mr. Phil. All right, guys, back double bicep. Yet again, Phil Heath popping spinal erectors into the lats, and the way it curves up into his V taper, it just looks incredible. It just looks much more complete, and it just comes through much tighter than Dorian. Now this pose I'm going to give to Dorian, simply because of what I mentioned before, which is the thickness of the quad from the front. That's really a freaky characteristic that Dorian has. And I also like the way that Dorian's abs are shaped better, and if you noticed this year at Olympia, Phil's stomach was not quite physically and presentationally appealing to look at. So just the way Phil makes his stomach look, a lot of times just looks bloated, protruding, not quite great. But you could say the same thing about Dorian, but I think all in all with this pose with the abs and thighs, just the thickness from the quads, and just the shape and the symmetry in the ab section, not necessarily symmetry, but just the shape of the abs in general, and just, yeah, yet again, the thickness and the conditioning I would give to Dorian. Dorian is known for conditioning, always. He's just freaking diced. And although conditioning is always important, and an abs and thighs pose where it's about your abs, I mean, you gotta give it to the conditioned guy, man. You know what I mean? Final shot is the most muscular pose, and yeah, Dorian looks grainy, he looks freaky. If you see in those bicep veins, if you see in those chest striations, if you see in those quad striations, although the picture is a little bit blurrier, it just looks a little deeper and harder and better than Phil's. The most muscular is most muscular, and although Dorian's bigger, Phil appears bigger because he is fuller. So I give that one to Phil just because of that freaky arm, delt, and chest fullness you see there. Alright, call me crazy, guys, but I'm going to give this one a tie. So I'm going to give points to both of them. So it's out of 13 points, and I would give it to, I'd give it to both of them. You know, Dorian has that really mystique about him, that interesting thing about him, the shadow presentation. Phil just puts the hand to the ear, riles up the crowd, and gets people excited. More so than anyone else on stage. They both have a unique presence about them, and I wouldn't give it to Dorian or Phil. I wouldn't give it to one guy or another, one man or another, one bro or another. I'd give it to both of them. They both have an awesome stage presentation, and that is that. So just to wrap it up, both guys have great things about them, but Phil, all in all, just has the presentation, he has the fullness, he has the symmetry for the most part, the proportions for the most part, and just a lot of things that come in together for a more complete package. So I'm gonna go out and say that although a lot of people won't like it, Phil is at the top of the game because of the fact that he is the full package. He's got it all, he's full, he comes in pretty conditioned every year, and every muscle group is relatively on point with him. So that really brings him up, and that really shows him strong, and that is why Phil Heath is your first winner in the Fantasy Flex Off video series. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see and who you want me to compare. Thank you for watching again. Like, comment, and subscribe.